When Jessica looked me straight in the eyes and said, "We live separate lives, Michael. You don't need to know where I go or what I do." Something inside me quietly tore. For years, I've been the steady one. The man who paid every bill, fixed every leak, showed up to every family gathering with a smile, even when it hurt. Meanwhile, Jessica had been drifting for months, always glued to her phone, always busy with people I'd never met. I kept telling myself it was just a rough patch, that all marriages go silent for a while. But that night, her words weren't silence. They were a sentence. She wasn't asking for space. She was declaring me unnecessary. I leaned back, forcing calm into my voice. "Separate lives?" I repeated. She barely nodded, thumbs sliding across her screen, like I was background noise. I nodded once. "All right then. Separate lives, but that also means separate finances." Her head snapped up. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," I said evenly, "that I've been funding this marriage alone while you've been occupied with whatever else you do. If I'm no longer your partner, I'm definitely not your ATM." Shock twisted across her face. "You wouldn't dare." "Oh, believe me," I said, "I would." I grabbed my laptop and started moving my money into an account with only my name on it. I'd always kept a small backup fund, a safety net I never mentioned. Tonight, I finally needed it. Her voice rose. "You can't just cut me off. That's not how marriage works." I let out a bitter laugh. "Marriage? You just announced we don't have one. You want independence? Perfect. Pay for it yourself." For the first time in a long time, I saw fear flicker in her eyes. She had only ever been bold because she assumed I would never push back, but she had miscalculated. The next morning, I followed through. Paycheck rerouted. Joint account frozen. Credit card suspended. By lunchtime, her phone was lighting up with declined payments. That evening, she was pacing the living room, furious. "My card didn't work at the salon today. Do you know how humiliating that was?" I set down my briefcase, calm as stone. Not as humiliating as finding out my wife considers herself single while still spending my money. Her eyes sharpened. "So this is punishment. You're trying to control me." "No," I said. "I'm doing exactly what you requested. Separate lives. Separate costs." Color drained from her face. It turns out Jessica didn't want independence. She wanted freedom with a safety net. My safety net. Over the next week, her world slowly crumbled. The friends who loved her when she picked up the check stopped inviting her out. Her fancy classes? Canceled. Her hair appointments? Gone. The expensive lifestyle she flaunted evaporated without my wallet behind it. One night, I found her at the kitchen table, eyes red, staring at her phone. "You okay?" I asked. She looked up. "Michael, can we talk?" I didn't mean what I said about separate lives. I was upset. I shook my head. "No, Jessica, you meant every word. You're just regretting it now that being independent actually costs something." Her apology landed flat. Hollow. I'd heard versions of it before. Promises whenever I pulled away, followed by the same old behavior. This time, I wasn't falling for it. "Jessica," I said quietly, "you're not sorry. You're scared. Scared because the comfort you had while pretending you didn't need me is gone." Tears welled. "That's not true. I love you. I was just confused." "Love isn't secrets," I interrupted. "It's not late nights or hidden texts. It's not telling your husband he doesn't need to know where you are, while expecting him to pay for everything." She swallowed hard as I continued. "I've already talked to a lawyer. The accounts are split. The house will be sold. You'll get your share, enough to live on if you're responsible. But the days of living off me are over." Her face turned pale. This was the moment she realized she'd pushed too far. The next few weeks passed quickly. I moved into a small apartment downtown. Quiet, peaceful mine. Jessica's late-night messages and teary calls went unanswered. I was already living the fresh start she kept begging for. One Saturday, while walking along the river, I ran into an old friend, Megan. We hadn't talked in years, but the conversation flowed effortlessly. Simple, honest, No tension, no hidden agendas, no emotional games. Just connection. It hit me like a breath of air I hadn't taken in years. I had been starving for that kind of companionship. By the time the divorce papers were finalized, Jessica looked nothing like the woman who once strutted beside me. She couldn't even meet my eyes when she whispered, "Goodbye, Michael." I walked out of that office with my head high. For the first time in years, I wasn't dragging a dead marriage behind me. I wasn't living in someone else's chaos. I was free, and that freedom was worth more than anything she ever pretended to offer.